Hi everyone. Today I'm getting rid of books. I was moving around furniture the other day, and when books are on a shelf, you don't really think about how much space they take up, but as soon as you take them off the shelf and they're in piles or boxes, you can witness the sheer mass of paper that you own, and I started getting the urge to clean some stuff out. The other reason is that a bookstore near me has a 3-volume set of something that I really want that would be a little shelf consuming, and maybe if I get rid of enough, I will treat myself. I'm just showing off the cool stuff. I have a bag of mass market paperbacks and contemporary fiction that I'm just going to take to my friends at the library. But this is the neat stuff that I may take to an antiquarian bookstore or just sell it online. Starting off with Ernest Wilkins' Life of Petrarch. From what I understand, this is an important scholarly biography of Francesco Petrarca, or Petrarch, who is an Italian poet from the early Renaissance, and he is very important to the development of the sonnet form in poetry, and therefore important to the development of English literature during the English Renaissance. Sir Thomas Wyatt and Henry Howard translate a bunch of his sonnets into English and help kickstart the popularity of that form. I'm getting rid of this because I'm not reading Petrarch right now, and I don't know when I'm going to get the itch to do it, and if I ever needed to read this particular biography over anything else, I could always find it on Internet Archive. Staying in the Renaissance, this is the autobiography of Benvenuto Cellini. This is the edition translated by John Addington Symonds and illustrated by Salvador Dali from 1948. Here's one of those Dali illustrations. I don't know if there's lore as to why Dali illustrated this. Cellini was an Italian sculptor in the Renaissance, and in addition to his achievements in that art form, his autobiography has become a literary achievement of its own. I think largely due to its boisterous nature and its colorful account of his life, it has become important to the history of the Renaissance and to the history of autobiographies as a literary form. However, if I wanted to read it, I could almost certainly get it in another form, and this edition is somewhat collectible. This is The Murder of Sir Thomas Overbury by William McElwee, published by Oxford in 1952. And this is about the murder of Thomas Overbury in the Tower of London in 1613. It's kind of a niche scholarly history. I get things like this when I see them at a good price because they're often kind of hard to get your hands on. In fact, I don't think this particular one is available on Internet Archive or any of the other sites. I may keep this one. I'm not sure. I do want to read more from this era. I just feel like there's so many other things I would read before this, but I'm not sure. This is Children of the Abbey by Regina Maria Roche, who is an Irish Gothic novelist. This was written in 1796. I don't know when this edition is from. It doesn't tell me. From what I understand, it's kind of a pretty typical Gothic novel. One thing notable about it is referenced in Jane Austen's Emma. Austen liked to pick on her Gothic contemporaries a little bit. This edition is nice, but if I wanted to read this book, I'd be perfectly happy reading it in some other form. This is Tales of a Grandfather by Sir Walter Scott. Sir Walter Scott, of course, known for his historical fiction, Ivanhoe primarily, and Rob Roy, but he wrote a ton. He wrote a ton of stuff, and this is like a history of Scotland that he wrote for his grandson, but turned into a book. This edition also is old enough to not tell you when it's from. It looks to me like very late 1800s. I'm not a huge Sir Walter Scott fan. If I ever wanted to read this, I'd probably do it online. Next up is a book by John Steinbeck. It's The Winter of Our Discontent. This is published by Viking in 1961. I know I need to read Steinbeck eventually, and I will, but I'd be perfectly happy reading him in other formats, and it's certainly not hard to get your hands on any of his major works in like a paperback. Next is the 2-volume set of Rudyard Kipling, his poems and stories, edited by John Beecroft, published by Doubleday. These are from 1956. I've seen these like 3 other times since I bought them. They're not particularly hard to find, and right now they're just taking up space. Last is this, the collected poems of Theodore Retzky. He was an American poet writing in like the mid-20th century. I've poked through this a little bit. His poetry seems nice. It seems good. It seems enjoyable. but it doesn't reach out and grab me like some other figures do. And for the time being, I need to be taking up my shelf space with those other figures. If I ever get the desire to spend some more time with this poet, I'll probably get a paperback or look at what's in the anthologies I have. And that's everything. Let me know if I'm making any mistakes, if I should be keeping something in here. See you next time.